Sagittarius, welcome back to the Renaissance Tarot. Welcome to your funny and your most favorite Armenian guy, where I serve and I slay. So dear Sagittarius, today I'm going to be doing your twin flame reading for the month of February 2026. And this is going to be a very specific reading for the group of Sagittarius out there who know that they are on a twin flame journey. Now, my cutie patootie peanut butter jelly, looking all this so yummy. In this reading, dear Sagittarius, I'm going to be taking a look at the overall energy between you and your twin flame, past, present, and future. I'm going to clarify all the cards and get some final advice for you. I will also pull some love messages from your twin flame to you and see what is it that you need to know, any potential outcomes. And I want to welcome you into this space. Thank you so much for being here, dear Sagittarius. Appreciate you, love you so much. And we're going to jump right into your reading and we're going to see what is it that you need to know. So, Sagittarius, let's get into it. I did upper body workout today and I'm like, I think I'm going to take a really good nap after this, to be honest. So, Sagittarius, the energy and the challenge for you and your twin flame in the month of February is the Five of Cups. And what you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck, you have the Five of Swords. Sagittarius, there is a lot of disappointment and sadness when it comes to your twin flame and you being on this journey with your twin flame. It looks like there is a lot that's happening in the background for many of you. A lot of you feel emotionally depleted. A lot of you have cried recently. Maybe you cried last night. Sending you a big hug, Sagittarius. So there is something that's been really bothering you, and we're going to talk about this and we're going to see what is it that you need to know. Now, in the recent past, dear Sagittarius, you have the Death card, the Page of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. In the recent past, for many of you, you offered a lot of love to your twin flame. And I think that, as you can see, the fish coming out of the cup, it's like this was a missed opportunity. And with the Death card and the Five of Pentacles, this situation very unexpectedly came to an end. We're going to talk about this more. I do see here that this was a very intense twin flame connection and journey, because that's what happens on a twin flame journey. It's a one soul experience split in two bodies, two people. And it also can be very intense. It can be runner and chase. It turns into a runner-chaser dynamic, separation, and then they heal and they come back around, okay? So I do see here you struggling a lot in the past. It could have been financially also. It could have been just in general, you going through so much stuff because of this experience, dear Sagittarius. I'm going to go really deep into your reading, so I want you to prepare yourself for that, okay? I feel called to really prepare a very much in-depth, in detailed reading for you, Sagittarius. Now, in the present moment, you have the Hierophant, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. In the present moment, I think this is tied up to your sadness. A lot of you were really anticipating that you were going to marry your twin flame. You were going to be with your twin flame. Your twin flame could be an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. For some of you, it could be a fire sign, but I feel like this is a very strong earth and air energy. Could be any other sign, but again, it could be a Scorpio too. Now, a lot of you do really want to marry this person, and you wanted to marry with them in the past as well. Now that it hasn't come into fruition, there is a lot of sadness, and we're going to find out more. And there is something that might be communicated. There is an announcement that's going to happen in the near future. The Judgment, the Nine of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Sagittarius, there is a decision-making process here, and I'm going to keep it 100% real. You know, I always keep it real, especially with you. So there is a decision here that needs to be made. I think this decision is very much tied up to whether you're going to decide to let go of your twin flame after you guys have this opportunity to have a conversation, because there is something about destiny, okay? And you can't let this twin flame journey to sway you off from your destiny. Now, here is the thing. Is there a chance that you may both reunite? I do see that also in the near future, but both of you are very wounded. Both of you are very hurt. So hurt people, heal people, heal people. So you are doing a lot of internal work right now. You're going within yourself with the Five of Cups. There is a lot of internal healing that's happening. You're processing a lot of emotions which have been very heavy. And still maybe it is heavy on a day-to-day basis. you know. So without any further ado, let's get into your reading and clarify all the cards for you. I'm going to start off clarifying the main challenge and the energy, which is the Five of Cups between you and your twin flame. So I'm going to clarify the Five of Cups, dear Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, the Five of Cups is clarified by the Eight of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Strength. So one of the reasons why you're very sad and you're very disappointed is because, first of all, there might be a geographical distance between you and your twin flame. Could have dealt with a Leo, and this person walked away from you. Okay, they abandoned the relationship. Could be from a different cultural background also. So for many of you, there is, unfortunately, still this lingering energy and this sadness as of to, why did this person walk away from me? Why did it disappear? You know, so a lot of you also, as you can see, there is someone here that's drowning in the water. So it can be emotionally affecting you on a big time right now, okay? And this person, I think one of the things that you dealt with them is they cut you off. Your twin flame cut you off, okay? And that was very unexpected. So a lot of you are processing those emotions. Now, in the recent past, Sagittarius, the Death card is clarified by the Ten of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. A lot of you were really in the process of building something really profound. You really gave all of that you had for this twin flame. You gave everything. You gave your time, you gave your finances, you gave your energy, you gave your presence, you gave your attention. And I think that all that was happening was you became exhausted. You felt exhausted because as if it was everything was on your shoulders. You were the only one that was doing everything, and it was becoming really challenging for many of you to really navigate through this twin flame journey, because also I feel like that it felt like that this person was not on the same page with you. They were not on the same page with you with the Page of Cups. Something about body of water could be very important. Water, you might have met the water. Page of Cups is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, Page of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles and the World. Now, in the recent past, I feel like here that your twin flame might have turned their back on you when it came to accepting this offer coming from you, when it came to really reuniting and reconciling together. I feel like that a lot of you really had to close this chapter. Okay, you had some sort of an internal closure, but I think it became very difficult. Also, I'm getting here someone financially might have struggled in the past with the Knight of Pentacles. Things kind of became really stagnant. And you have the Five of Pentacles in the past. So the Five of Pentacles, abandonment, not being on the same page. I think that also there was a lot of isolation that you recently went through, Sagittarius. So the Five of Pentacles is clarified by the Four of Wands, the World, and the Five of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. You know what I'm saying? Even the cards are confirming that. That's why I love tarot so much. So for many of you, dear Sagittarius, I see here that in the past, this chapter here came to an end, and there were a lot of pain, a lot of arguments, a lot of conflict, misunderstanding here. Unfortunately, this relationship ended, and it might have ended on the ground of arguments, conflict, competition, jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of factors that really affected this relationship with your twin flame coming to an end. And I think this was someone that was also an avoidant here. Now, the Hierophant, I think marriage is on your mind. You could be someone that you're a teacher. So the Hierophant is clarified by the the Chariot, the King of Cups, and the Seven of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. You don't fully trust your twin flame yet. And there is something here about you emotionally not really. You do love your twin flame, but I don't think you really trust them fully with the Seven of Swords. There is some sort of suspicion that you have when it comes to commitment, when it comes to marriage. Are they really going to commit to me? Are they really going to be in a long-term relationship with me or not? A lot of you are actually wanting to settle down with the Ten of Pentacles and, marry with your twin flame and be together in the same place. So the Ten of Pentacles, dear Sagittarius, is clarified by the Two of Pentacles, the Devil, and the High Priestess, and you have the Four of Cups. So this is about you really recognizing that if if, for example, you were to be with your twin flame and they're going back and forth and they're going this way and they're going that way and it's just turning into something very toxic, then the High Priestess here is saying that you need to really take a step back. You really need to ask yourself, is this really the type of happiness that I want to pursue? Twin flame journey can be very intense, it can be very enlightening, and it is also something that really facilitates someone's personal discovery. So it might have actually really opened your third eye, it might have really opened up a lot of things for you spiritually speaking, and maybe the chapter is closed and you have to make a decision here. Page of Swords. You maybe have already done your research or you're in the process of making your research and just saying, you know what, I think I'm just done with this situation and I'm gonna move on. So the Page of Swords, Sagittarius, in the month of February is clarified by the Fool, the Three of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Yeah. You know, here is the thing. You just don't want to enter into some sort of a heartbreak here. You don't want to deal with that. Anybody got time for that? You don't want to enter into a dynamic where there is heartbreak, where there is, you know, possibility of breaking up together again. You want love, you want commitment, and that is something that you're deciding even internally, that you don't want to enter into a dynamic where you don't feel really connected with someone that's, especially even if it's your twin flame, that they're not on the same page with you. That's not on the same page with you. You know, you both might have a very strong chemistry and attraction, but ultimately a decision here needs to be made. So let's clarify the Judgment and see what is it that you need to know. So the Judgment, dear Sagittarius, is clarified by the Page of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like that for a lot of you, this has a lot to do with you making a decision here, even maybe between two people. You could be dealing with the twin flame, and you could be also in the process of meeting someone new, you know? So there is this energy of you trying to really decide between your twin flame and someone here that you might be exploring. This person actually that you might be exploring, this is just showing up as an energy, what I'm picking up, not a gender specific. Could be someone that's very much stable. There is something very stable. Now the Nine of Wands here, I feel like you constantly feel that your twin flame's energy is constantly around you. There is something about your twin flame. You have the Devil at the bottom on the other decks that I'm going to use. There is something about you feeling that you're dealing with a very wounded twin flame, and there is only one twin flame. But you are not someone here that's going to have to take all the responsibility in your hands and try to heal this, try to make it work here. You know, Nine of Wands here is talking about you really deciding to show your twin flame the door to heal. So it's clarified by the Page of Swords, King of Pentacles, Four of Cups. Your twin flame is an avoidant. Okay, they tend to avoid a lot. They tend to be very much closed off. They don't want to talk about difficult things. They immediately shut down. And this is something that, especially for a Sagittarius, it's very off-putting, and you don't want to deal with that. And you have the Tower here. So this is about the possibility of you going through another Tower moment and experiencing another ending. And you want to be very careful that it doesn't happen again. Okay, so with the Wheel of Fortune here in the near future, this is about some sort of a turning point, clarified by the Queen of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles. You know, I think you're going to call your twin flame out. You're going to call him out somehow. You're going to let him know that that's what's going on. And, you know, you don't want to get stuck into this place of not knowing where this relationship could go with them, because you don't want to risk anything. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you don't really feel like that your twin flame is also going to be on the same page with you, if they're going to reciprocate the same level of love with you or not, you know. So it's very significant for a lot of you. I think that this has a lot to do with you realizing that what's meant for you will stay, what's not, it will not. And also, we are not bound to a twin flame. You can walk away respectfully, dear Sagittarius. You can say, you know what, this chapter is just, I don't want to be in this energy anymore. It's over for me, and I'm moving on. I'm moving to something different. And again, that can be another phase of separation, because the twin flames always tend to come back and find each other, you know, but you both could be in different places. You both could be in a place where you both are ready to reunite, or you both could be in places where you have built your life, they have built their life, you know? So I know this is maybe not what everybody wants to hear, but that's what I'm seeing here, and I must tell you what I'm seeing, right? So let's get the advice here, Sagittarius, and see what is it that you need to know. So let's see what is the advice for my Sagittarius. What do you need to know? So Sagittarius, I don't know why I keep doing that longer, clarified by the Two of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Seven of Wands, and you have the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So Sagittarius, there will be a conversation and a decision here to be made. You have the Six of Cups coming up. I think the conflict is going to stop for a moment. Okay, you see there is the Five of Wands also at the bottom of the deck. Your twin flame, there will be a time when the conflict will stop. And this tarot deck that I'm using, this one specifically, this is one dimension, one timeline ahead rather than the traditional one. So what I'm really seeing here is there's going to be a time when the conflict will stop and your twin flame will return to have a conversation. But you have a decision here to make. Two of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. Do you still want to go back to this person? And do you really see yourself marrying this person? There will be tests, there will be challenges. That is part of the twin flame journey. And I don't see a Sagittarius being afraid of tests and conflicts and things like that. But is it really worth your time? And that is the genuine question that you would want to ask yourself when it comes to you knowing that you are specifically dealing with a twin flame connection. Because there will be many conflicts and many times, and I know that the Sagittarius, you don't have time for that. You're not a conflict, you don't like conflicts. You just say, deal with it and move on, So that is kind of your advice here, because there is a decision that you're going to be making, You also want to make sure that you are not missing out on an opportunity that could be presented to you. Maybe you could be meeting someone else here, that's going to be very significant. So let's see what is the love messages, okay, for you and your twin flame, and what do you need to know. What is the love messages here between you and your twin flame that you need to know? So you have surrender, okay? And it says, at times we must surrender the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go and all will work out. This can mean multiple things for many of you. It may mean that it is time for you to really just release whatever it is that no longer is serving you, right? As we can see, this energy, this is not your permanent state of mind, of course. You're someone that you're very optimistic, Sagittarius. This is about you just really deciding that, is this something that's going to serve me long term or not? I'm just going to surrender, give it to the universe. And then you have another message for your twin flame when it comes to matters of the heart. There is no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. So again, this is about really expansion, okay? And you as an archer, Sagittarius, you're an explorer of life. You are a philosopher of life. You are someone that you like to gather wisdom and have these golden nuggets of wisdom through experiences, through books, through history. You like to travel, you like to have new experiences. This twin flame journey is simply a chapter in your life. It is not your entire life. It is not an entire book. It's just a chapter. And you have a decision here to make if that is something that you would still want to stick with or not. You know what I'm saying? So you know it better, definitely. So I'm going to pull one card here for you to see what is the spiritual messages coming in. You have Vajra Yogini, transcending fear. Transcending fear, and it says facing fear leads to fearlessness. Embrace your power. And you see there is a third eye that's opening up, right? There is a third eye. I legit talked about your third eye opening up. Your pineal gland, your third eye. I talked about it like earlier in the video. So this is about you really just remembering that, just as a reminder. It's a reminder. You already know this. This reality is a stimulation, hologram, and this fear that you're feeling is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. We're accustomed to we have been trained to take those fears as realities, and we've been trained to feel that that's how things go. Oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is about you recognizing that, you know what, I'm just going to embrace my power and I'm going to make this decision. And it may hurt in the beginning, but I know what's best for me moving forward, okay? So, I always want to keep it so real for you and with you, dear Sagittarius. Now, this is what I had for you. I hope that this reading helped and brought some clarity to you. It was very much straight to the point, 1, 2, 3, and then we were like, okay, this is what's going on, Sagittarius. I love you so much. I hope that this reading helped. Thank you so much. Have an amazing week ahead, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.